Thank you for watching this clip of Not My Bag.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
And if you're listening, give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Drama. I mean, I know you don't want to talk about much. I know there's probably, but was there any drama or any juicy stories, especially like from touring, as you said, like the pressure?
Was there ever
cooker
like any
environment?
massive arguments that you're like, this has come out of nowhere?
It's all in my
like,
book.
Plug it.
Yeah. No, oh my God. We're like sisters. We're
Yeah.
like family. You know, we've experienced something so unique together.
Yeah.
And we've lived, we were literally together 24/7 for like 2 years, 4 years straight.
Jeez.
And of course, I think we love each other and drive each other mad in equal measures.
Yeah.
There was loads of fights. There was the odd physical fight.
Really?
But it was mostly like, big old bust-ups. But then, you know
Yeah.
what it's like. But then you make up.
Yeah.
Were they due to like literally just the stress, or was it like, I don't know, was a song coming out, or was it just one night you guys were tired? Like, can you remember any that are like specific and you were like, that was pretty crazy?
The only night I think it got physical was after a few bevies.
Oh, of course.
And it was something
Of course.
between me and Melby had a little bit of a bust up, and Jerry got in the way and got chinned by mistake.
Poor
by
Jerry.
mistake. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
You heard it here
Poor
first.
Jerry, she's only dinky as well. Isn't she? So it's like pheong across the room. No. But it very, very, very rarely got physical.
But then
Maybe
also,
only that once.
fair enough. Like, as you said, you were together for so, like, do you know what I mean? 4 years straight, basically.
Yeah.
There is so much pressure, pressure on you guys.
And it's the dynamic as well. These people, you're not going to get along all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is, as you get older, you kind of respect each other's differences.
time,
you
you
know,
need a bit
and
of
just
time and
and a bit of
yeah.
space. Yeah.
Did they really turn Posh's mic off? Like,
No. She said that, didn't she?
did.
She honestly, she really makes me mad when she says this, because she's got she really doesn't have any confidence in her vocal ability, and she should, because she has
do
got
you know
an incredible
what?
voice.
Last year, I think one of my top stream songs was Not Such an Innocent Girl. Mm-hmm. I think she's sick.
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing is with the Spice Girls, right? Okay, so the truth of the matter is, none of us are like amazing singers. Do you know what I mean? We're all decent singers, but we're all.
I beg to differ, because you are probably the biggest girl band in the world, but
Yeah,
I
but
feel like
but
you've
there's
got,
more
I know
to
what
it.
you mean, because there's like,
Yeah.
you've got the belters, you've got like Tori Kelly is like the range. I know what you mean. Do you know, like
Yeah.
there are artists out
There
there
are much
that
more
like,
accomplished
you
singers. You look at someone like
listen
Ariana Grande. Of
course.
Do you know what I mean? Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
Whitney
yeah.
Houston. Adele.
There's
these
variations.
powerhouses.
Yeah.
These incredible vocalists. None of the Spice Girls are that. But it's the package.
Yeah,
It's the
together.
package of each person
Yeah.
with the personality and the individuality.
Yeah.
And then when we come together, it's all the tones and textures that made the sound.
they just
Of course,
work. Yeah.
No, I did wonder that, because I did see it in an interview and I was like, did that actually happen? So, Wannabe was written in 10 minutes.
It's so funny. Every time someone asks me a question, the time changes. It's like, when your dad tells a story, did your dad do this? And it gets a little bit more embellished.
I was
every time it
wondering whether
gets
this is
told.
what happened, because I was like, 10 minutes.
It started off
is
as half
very
an hour, then 15. Now it's 10.
Yeah.
It'd be 5.
I mean,
next
10
week.
minutes is a long time for some
Yeah.
people, but
I personally, my recollection is about 20.
Fine.
It's definitely between 15 and half an hour.
okay, fine.
And yeah, we were in a studio with Matt and Biff, who are two of the great writers that we've always worked with. We did Wannabe, Spice Up Your Life, To Become One, all the biggies, Viva Forever. And they were just like, we want to capture your energy.
Yeah.
And they really encouraged us to do anything.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you can't say anything, sing anything. And so we
Just like go up to the mic and just
just do
it.
anything.
Just do it.
And that was, they took that and made it into an incredible song.
I love that. If you could, out of knowing George and I for about 30 minutes now, if you could name us as Spices, what would you do? Like, which name would you give?
I think George's Geezer Spice.
I love Geezer Spice.
Geezer Spice.
Geezer Spice.
yeah.
Okay,
That's what
now
I'm
I'm
feeling.
worried.
Gay
No, but
Spice.
I'm seeing you.
Geezer and Gay.
Geezer and Gay Spice.
Geezer and Gay Spice. Okay, fine. No, I actually really, really like that.
Yeah, I
So
like
roll with it.
It really fits. Not my bag. Not my bag. Anyway, we wanted to speak about the book. The book. Who I Am.
Sunday Times top 10 bestseller.
Yeah, I know.
What an achievement.
Check me out.
That is
yeah.
good.
What an achievement. I just wanted to know, opening up to that extent, what was it like? How did it feel, the process of it?
Ooh, well, the book is obviously my time with the Spice Girls is and has been incredible. And there are so many like iconic moments. You know, there's pictures people may have seen. Jerry in the Union Jack dress when we like swept the board at the Brits, and us meeting Prince Charles and him getting his bum patted and lipstick being left on his face, and we met Nelson Mandela, and we did the most insane things. And I really wanted to let people into like behind the scenes of those moments. I wanted to make it like really descriptive. I also wanted to make it like, I wanted to give people an insight to like my childhood and growing up in the Northwest and through the 70s and the 80s. So there's loads of fun stuff in there. But, I've had some personal issues in my life as well. I've dealt with an eating disorder and depression and anxiety. And I know it's something that sadly lots of people deal with.
Yeah.
And it was something very important for me to cover in the book. So I just wanted it to be like a really balanced view, real celebration of the wonderful things I've achieved, but some of the difficult things I've overcome.
I feel like it's so good you spoke about, like touched on stuff like depression and eating disorders, because obviously people look at you and they're like, oh, Mel C, her life's been perfect, amazing. Do you know what I mean? She's such a successful woman. And they don't think people can get, do you know what I mean? Like it's the same when we spoke to Louis Spencer. He was like, I've got really bad anxiety. But you look at people like that and you just think, it's
their
bad.
life's perfect.
Do you know what I mean?
They've got everything they want.
You've got everything you want.
Yeah. Well, you know
top
what?
charts like.
When my toughest years was probably around the time when you were born, actually, 2000, 2001. And I was probably in the most successful period of my solo career, obviously just off the back of all the Spice Girls stuff. And I was extremely wealthy. I had the dream apartment, I had the dream car, I had all the things, I ticked all the boxes. I was very, very unhappy. And having achieved everything I'd ever dreamed of as a kid, and then being really, really lonely and sad made me feel guilty as well, which kind of compounded it and made it harder and made it worse. And the thing is, so many young people aspire to be famous, and I wouldn't change my life for anything because fame is really fun, isn't it? There's really fun things that you can do. And also I have a passion to perform, to make music, and I can do that. But like everything, there's negatives, and you just have to be aware of that going into it.
It's like the story of like George Michael, Whitney Houston. They were so big, so powerful, so much money. In the end, what did they do? They turned to drugs and things.
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what I mean? Like,
This
and it's
is
so
the thing.
sad, but it just happens.
Yeah, it happens so much to people in the public eye. And so I think it's really important, no matter, what walk of life you're in, where you're from, what you aspire to do, we can all suffer these things, and that is what makes us human. That's the thing that we all have in common.
I think that's why your book has done so well, though, because as you said, you touch on everything. Like it's just your life. Like, I think people are so interested in this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
And it's lovely that you've mentioned that, because I started to realise, particularly with the next segment that we go on to, with asking the public, opinions on things like that, and they say to me, oh, it's really nice that you spoke about your anxiety on the last episode we had, because we didn't realise you had it, and it's nice to see people overcome. And at the level that you're at, for people to get an understanding of that and to break the stigma is so important.
So important.
Because especially with us as well, and with you, when you're on stage, you're being fun, this personality all the time, as are we online. People just expect that you are like that all the time.
You do have down days.
I have the days where I can't even get out of bed because it's so bad.
Oh
Even
my
still.
gosh. Yeah.
And I've been dealing with it as much as everyone else has been. And in this industry, it is sometimes frowned upon as well, that in entertainment, that you can't have that. Do you know what I mean? Especially now, it's that you can't be anxious.
It's like you turn up to the studio and you're having a really bad day. You can't do that. Do you know what I mean? They're like, no, well, you need to sing this and you need to put on this good face.
There's a certain level that you have to perform.
It's really hard. I think what's been interesting over the last couple of years is that some, really high profile musicians and sports people have pulled out of competitions or cancelled tour dates because they're putting their physical and mental health first.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in the 90s.
Yeah,
It was just you get on with it. The show must go on.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we are taking these things more seriously now, and people have the choice. And you know what? I know in my life, I have a few people who say they don't get anxious. And I think that they're the ones who are in the minority. I think the majority of people have anxiety.